Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love Crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
You know, I can laugh at myself, and it's okay to laugh at yourself from time to time. Good morning, everyone. Second time around. Good having you company. Welcome to today, Wednesday, the 8th of January, 2025. I'm Pearson Bowen. And as always, to those of you in the diaspora, wherever you are, thank you for waking up. Thank you for logging on and logging in. I know you keep our chats very, very busy, and I love that. I actually love that. So continue to interact with us as we continue to interact with you. Typically every morning, of course, we'll be sharing with you information which you need to know. As you know, this year, 2025, is the year of regathering, so come now home. So if you're very cold climes, right now perhaps is a time for you to head to your travel agency, book your ticket and come by we, because you're coming home to be a part of it all. And today we want to take a look at the ongoing activities in St. Lucie, so stand by for that. There is a lot. And if you're not here for much of it, then you've missed a lot. But there's a whole year of it, so stand by. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. January, as you know, typically is Drug Awareness Month, and actually we will continue to update you on what's happening for Drug Awareness Month and how you can be a part of the activities and how it affects you and your family and your loved one. We'll talk today about the resumption of Q in the community. It's a brand new year, and we're going to some interesting places as well, as our marketing officer, Nicole, will join us in just a little while to tell us what's happening this week as we resume Q in the community. There's a very outstanding thespian artist, just a creative man, Patrick Foster, and so he's being honoured with an exhibition at Queen's Park, and we'll hear more about what that is about and how you too can exhibit there too. Also today, we'll meet the first black woman to lead the Girl Scout Heart in New Jersey. She'll be on set with us, so we can't wait to hear her story and a whole lot more. But let's get going. Let's head north to St. Lucie and say good morning to my head boy while I was at College of Parish. Minister Peter Phillips, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Pearson, and good morning to St. Lucie in particular and the rest of the Caribbean and the world.
Indeed. I didn't know y'all were y'all about the CBH, you're right, but he was my head boy. He was my head boy. And we have another CP Manny here, actually. Our technical director also went to CP, so there are 3 CP boys on Mornin Barbados today.
That's wonderful. So that means that we're going to have, we old times, we're going to rehash old times and so on, and we're going to have and inform the listeners about a lot of things, particularly this morning.
Yeah, you know, in 2020, we had the first iteration of regathering, and though it was cut short, St. Lucie started this thing, and St. Lucie made it difficult for all of the other parishes to continue. Let's look back at that for just a moment. How was that experience for you?
Well, that experience, it was a rewarding experience, first of all. But it was really taxing, because this was the first time we were having regathering, and you had to be able to create these activities that would appeal to not just the people of St. Lucie, but also the people of the rest of Barbados and those persons whom you were inviting to come home. So that experience but it was good at the end of the day. Yes. You know, it was really, really wonderful. Everything was executed well, and I thank all those persons who were there and who helped in doing all the business houses, all the schools, the different agencies, the sporting clubs and so on, who were able to come on board and work with us and made that event a wonderful and rewarding event.
And a lot of that coordination that happened then in 2020 is also being applied to 2025.
Yes, and perhaps it might be even a bit more difficult. You know, sometimes you are
You're judged by your own success.
You're judged by your own success,
Yes.
correct. So because we had set such a high standard, as everyone was telling us, this time we cannot drop below that standard. We have to even raise the bar even higher. And that is what we're endeavoring to do this year as we roll out with our various activities and so on across the parish.
I think for regathering locals, it's an opportunity to not just stay where you are, but to go into other places, each parish by parish, and discover. Because I remember, well, coming out of the 2020 experience, a lot of people thought, I never knew that all of this was in St. Lucie.
Yes, I was about to say that as well. That was an experience in itself. Persons living in Barbados, because we must not only focus and say it is in relation to persons coming from the diaspora, coming from the region, whatever, as far as Africa, wherever they may come from. It is for locals, because there are some persons who would have been born in St. Lucie. They probably went to school in St. Lucie, grew up, but then in their adult life they moved out to another parish and so on for one reason or another. You know, they might be taken out too in the you know how it goes. And so that is where we talk about coming home. If you move to St. Philip, if you move to Christchurch, if you move to St. George, wherever you've moved to, now is the time to come back at St. Lucie that you left, that you grew up in, and see what changes have been made and so on.
And there have been tremendous changes as well, and that's the beauty of what St. Lucie is. I always say, well, you cross the border, entering the parish of St. Lucie, immediately there's a freshness to the air.
Of the breeze.
there is just a totally different feel, but there is also a totally different look. The roads have been improved. There are other amenities that have been laid in. So can you talk a little bit more about some of the changes for those who may not have remembered since 2020, haven't taken the drive into St. Lucie, to get them to come to St. Lucie this month?
Well, yes, we have been developing other areas in St. Lucie. You would go now and you will see Archer's Bay is not what it used to look like. We remember, and I recall, I heard, I can't say that I was there because I was perhaps a baby in that era.
Yes.
When Archer's Bay was the picnic spot in St. Lucie, even before River Bay that we all talk about. And Archer's Bay has been transformed now, you know, making it that you can come to it again, bring the family, a total family area. This is one of the changes that we have had. We've had now some manufacturing. You've had some place like the Arawak cement, which was there since then, you know.
Yes.
And that is somewhere that you can. That is one of the businesses. You have some place like what we call Jada, you know, and those are all. And then there's development of small business. There are a lot of small businesses in St. Lucie. These shops and so on, where people have you know, their entrepreneurial skills. Right, so that is one of the things that we have done, and I remember as a young boy growing up, when my mom used to, she was one. You remember that day you had the bakers in the communities.
Yes.
So you would have persons baking the sweet bread, the salt bread, turnovers, and so on, and going by the corner, you know, with the lamp and selling, and persons from the neighborhood coming to sell. Now what has happened, we still have those, you still have business like that, where you have on a Friday, maybe something on as early as a Wednesday night, you have the chicken and chips and all those things being sold, the drinks and so on. You have persons now setting up vegetable stalls alongside the road in some areas and so on. You know, so a lot has changed, but it is progressing, as a matter of fact, because you would have had to go to Bridgetown to the market to buy your cucumbers and your tomatoes and so on. At this point in time, we've moved from that, and persons have been setting up alongside the road, you know, for safe. In terms of safety, don't mind it's alongside the road. It's what has happened is that it is done in a way that you are still safe, you know, and you can get your vegetables without having to come down to town. And I say down to town because we tend to say You go down St. Lucie, but it's not
Yes,
down St.
it's go
Lucie,
up.
it's up St. Lucie.
But what you're speaking of is empowerment, and that's the beauty of the whole thing, that the people of St. Lucie have been empowered, and they're taking that empowerment and making the best of it for themselves as well and their families. When you were reflecting just now on this sweet breads and the turnovers and stuff, my mind went straight in, because you were the Pike Corner bus man, I was the Colonel Town bus
Yes.
man, and there was a lady named Daphne Husbands who would take the bus with her basket smelling of her baked goods.
We were talking about Daphne up to the other day. She used to live the bottom of Sutherland Hill, what we
Yes.
call under the hill.
Yes.
You know, and Daphne's turnovers and pone and sweet
Boy.
bread was the bread to have. And you had other small business people in St. Lucie. My mother there were two in Pike Corner. I recall there was my mother, and there was a lady called Millicent Boyce. Millicent Boyce. One, they used to do it on different nights in the week. One would do like Thursday, and my mom would do like Saturday nights.
Right.
And persons will be trekking to these persons to be able to, you know, purchase those turnovers and so on. And persons sometimes would order and talk about the cassava pone and the corn pone. We don't see much corn pone now.
No.
You know?
I would do the cassava, but you know what we're here doing is what we're gathering is also about the oral stories, the memories, the traditions, all of that kind of thing. So when you
Yes.
come now home, that is exactly what you can start to do. And those of you who live here in Barbados, as well as you travel into St. Lucie or any of the other parishes, you can begin to ask, who are some of the outstanding people? What are some of the most memorable moments that would have occurred for a lot of people as well? And that's what we're talking about. That's what we're gathering, to my mind, also offers.
Yes, exactly, because you have some persons who would have contributed tremendously to St. Lucie. I know St. Lucie would have been the home, let me put it this way, the birthplace, as we call it, of the late, very excellent Harold Barr. And this year he would have been 125 years old. We have some persons, some headmistresses and so on, like your relative Daphne
my
Spring,
aunt, yes.
your aunt, a dear old soul. You have some person like Louine Nichols, you have former unionist and member of parliament Evelyn Graves. So these are all persons who would have contributed to St. Lucie, its development, and who made St. Lucie proud. You had the famous man, I don't know anybody would ever forget him, Lyle Ward.
Yes.
Lyle Ward, he was one of those top business persons in St. Lucie.
Yes.
In recent vintage, of course, would have been not too long ago. He's passed now, Sir Charles Williams. He would have been a resident of St. Lucie.
That's right.
As well. So we have a lot of persons who would have contributed and come out of St. Lucie and contributed to Barbados and its development and so on.
Right. So for those of you coming home, don't just talk about it. You can. What I like to do, I'm sorry, this might sound a little bit morbid for the morning, but I'm going to say it. Browse the cemeteries.
Yes.
And look at the people who are buried
Yes.
there, the people who have built the parish of St. Lucie, and you will see for yourself how proud a tradition St. Lucie has that we can all celebrate here in Regathering. So in moving around the island this year and in moving into St. Lucie in particular, there is a lot for you that you can explore and enjoy. And that's what Regathering this year is seeking to do, to reconnect families, reconnect friends, reconnect for those of you who've moved about, to come back home. Come back home and walk the walk. I love to do that often. You know, I would do it by foot. Because I don't live in Hope Road, St. Lucie anymore, but you get the idea. And so you park and you walk the streets that you walked as a child.
Correct.
Whether it's your childhood church, your childhood school, meet some of the people, your friends who are still living where you lived.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing.
And one of the things, Pearson, maybe might be, I don't know, I wouldn't call it the best kept secret because I talk about it all the time now. The St. Lucy's Parish Church.
Yeah.
The St. Lucy's Parish Church is the same age as Bridgetown, one of the first churches that was, the first 6 churches that was established in Barbados back in this year it's celebrating 397 years, and that has now become, as you come into St. Lucie, coming from the Allendale side, that is a beautiful picture nestled between the trees and so on, you know, and that is something for persons to come. If you haven't seen it before, and you come from, whether you come from St. Philip or somewhere else in the region or the world, when you come back home, you come and that is one of the sights to behold as well. You remember another picnic spot in St. Lucie, Cove Bay.
Yes.
That used to be a very popular picnic site as well. You know, so St. Lucie has a lot to offer that persons can come and see and explore. And I want to, you made a point that persons after the start of the last regathering activity, I got comments that persons were saying persons would come from other parishes, because that is very, very important.
Yes.
It's not just for the people from over and away, as we would say. It's for persons here. And the comment was made, yeah, well, I didn't know this was in St. Lucie. This is the first time, you know, because persons look at the style St. Lucie as the only female parish and such, like, yeah, you know, and that's all well and good, but St. Lucie goes beyond that. Right? St. Lucie goes beyond that. So that's why we would invite persons to come and explore. You missed it last time. Make sure you don't miss it.
Don't make that mistake again. Don't make that mistake again. Come down, come over, come up, come. Wherever you are, really come and explore. If you don't know who Ignatius Bayer is, get to know. If you don't know who St. Swithins was, you get to know.
Yes.
Ask some questions. It's okay. But that also, to my mind, brings the value of knowing where you are as well. Because oftentimes you live in an area and you don't know how it got its name. And so I would hope that all of my folks in St. Lucie take some time to understand, when you live in Hope Road, as I did, what does that mean? Who is it named after? That kind of, if you lived in Glendalough, what does that mean? Who lived there?
And this is good. This would be good education for our youngsters who would not have had some of the experiences that we would have had in that time. You know, this is a good way, a good time for them to come, learn, because this is all about education too. It's not just for the socializing and so on, but it's getting to know your parish, know where your grandparents grew up and the lifestyle that they lived and so on, what they had to go through in those days, because we see a lot of we've advanced quite far. We've made a lot of advances, but it is good to step back and teach the youngsters what it meant to go to Little Bay. To go to Little Bay coming up to Christmas and bring marl. And sand. To throw on the yard, to make the yard spick and span, to get the whitehead bush. You know, you sit and you scrub the floor with the whitehead bush, to cut the cuscus grass early sometime in November, and put it to dry, to stuff the mattress. We ain't wearing no we didn't have some slumberpedics then. We had grass pedics.
Correct. But you know who taught a lot of that as well? Your father, as the porter of CP, and he almost took all of us from St. Lucie as well, and told us a lot of those stories as well. So that oral tradition we want to maintain. I think Regathering offers that opportunity for that oral tradition to be strengthened. And hopefully, I pray that someday somebody documents all that has been said and remembered before it's lost.
Yes, I have a document that I would have created for in the last Regathering facts about St. Lucie. I still have that on my laptop up to today. And definitely that is something that we're going to be pushing out there, because youngsters need to know and understand. Because when you know and you get to understand, you appreciate what was done and how we got here, you know, where we've come from. And that is very, very important.
If I were to ask anyone, do you know how many Methodist churches are in St. Lucie? Got you right. Can't answer. There are, and would you believe it, that there are some Methodist churches in the north, in St. Lucie in particular. If you can answer that, call my producer right now, 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call her right now. Let her know how many and the names of those Methodist churches, and surprise me, because I don't think many of you Well, apart from the Methodists, of course. But remember, so call us right now, 228-5562 or 228-5563. Tell me how many Methodist churches are in St. Lucie and the names of those Methodist churches. If you get it right, I'll be more than chuffed. I'll be very, very happy, as a matter of fact. But there's a lot more we can tell you about, because this year the plans are also quite exciting. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll hear what St. Lucie is offering for Regathering 2025.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Coming up, these chefs and mixologists produce their creative best for their biggest party yet. This steel band has been making a difference for over 40 years. An island filled with beauty, a vibrant culture, and an iconic natural attraction. Now, where can this be? It's all next on this station.
You're involved in an accident, and the other driver leaves the scene before the insurance representatives arrive.
If you can, use a cell phone or camera to record the scene. A driver who leaves the scene has 24 hours to report the accident to the police and their insurance company. Failure to do so may lead to prosecution.
What if the other driver doesn't have insurance?
If it is confirmed that the person does not have insurance, the necessary court action may follow. Report the accident to the police within 24 hours.
A message from the Barbados Police Service and the Barbados Government Information Service.
This is Carnival Catwalk, where fashion meets carnival.
This was like a cacophony of color.
Look at people by the truck, by the truck. Look at people by the truck.
We have searched far and wide for 10 of the most fearless, creative fashion designers in the world.
And they're all here for one common goal, and that is to snatch the grand prize of $100,000 and to prove that they are the ultimate fashion maestro.
Wow! That's a project worth well done. Now you know.
Could you imagine this is the first time we've seen her sew for the day?
I love this projecting into the future.
The whole time I thought, he is coming back to Carnival for sure.
And you are about to witness a competition like no other. It's Rome!
And I'm Candy. Get ready for an epic adventure in fashion.
This is Carnival Catwalk.
Fashion has to fit. It's wearable art. His garment does not fit.
Remember, we don't want ordinary, we want extraordinary. This is Carnival Catwalk.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Listen, I asked one simple question, I think. How many Methodist churches are in St. Lucie and what are their names? 228-5562 or 228-5563. I will be shocked if none of you knows. So let's see if we have a caller on the line and see if this one knows. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I am fine this morning.
Wonderful. Where are you in St. Lucie, by the way?
Not currently.
I don't mean like currently. You from St. Lucie?
Yes, I am from St. Lucie.
All right, good man. So I suppose that you have big plans to come home for regathering, right?
Indeed, indeed.
All right. I wouldn't kill you so early in the morning. So tell me, how many Methodist churches are in St. Lucie and the names?
Okay, I'll attempt to answer. I believe there are two.
Go ahead. I'm listening to you. Finish my question.
Methodist Church and Bethesda Methodist Church up there in Hope Road.
Listen to me. You got it right. But the pronunciation is Bethesda.
Bethesda, yes.
That is my church, so don't mispronounce the name, okay?
Right on.
Well done. Where in St. Lucie are you from?
Maycox.
So tell me a little bit about some of the things you remember about Maycox growing up.
Well, when it comes to, like, we just got past the Christmas season, you would have loads of tourists coming into the neighborhood, going down to Maycott's Bay to surf. And that was a very popular as well picnic spot back in the day. And it's a lovely beach that is pretty much unknown to modern Barbados today. So a lot of the tourists and the surfers alike would come to the parish. I mean, cars parked on either side of the road going down. And the community was just, and it is a lovely, friendly, interactive community. You have lots of entrepreneurs, businesses in the area. And the community hub next to Husbands and Brownfield. So everyone was interconnected. Lovely area.
I'm impressed by you, Mr. St. Lucie. Thank you very much for calling. Well done. Have a good day, okay?
Thank you.
Good man.
All right.
And that's what we're talking about here. Know your parish, know your place. And that's not said in a bad way, but you don't know where you live. So that you can, like this gentleman, talk about it. And talk about it with other people as well.
Yes, and share, exactly. And share with persons what it was like. When I listened to him, and he was absolutely correct.
Yes.
Maycott's, if you go to Maycott's Beach, it is a hidden paradise, I would call it. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And persons come from far and near to go down to that beach to picnic and so on. You have to, it could be a bit of distance in terms of you walking across when you get to the end of the development, but Maycott's was one of the discoveries that I made when I worked in the nether. I did community work in another place, at another point in time.
But you also down at roads the naval base, which became Harrison Point.
Yes, Harrison's Point.
All of that is for you to discover. So let me do some talking about what's coming up this year now. So talk to me a little bit about how we're celebrating Regathering and what St. Lucie's doing for Regathering 2025.
Well, we are doing a number of activities geared for the young, the old, the not so old,
like me,
and we would have started on Sunday, just gone. As a matter of fact, we first had, it was a national motorcade, and we picked what we would call a alignment spot in Crab Hill, by the corner bar.
Dolly's Shop.
I mean, which known as Dolly's Shop, we used to call it, correct, one of the popular areas in Crab Hill. And we had a good time there. Then we had our church service, because we believe that in everything that you do, you should put God first.
Absolutely.
And we had a wonderful church service at the historic St. Lucie's Parish Church. That was on Sunday. And what we're moving on to now, and we're trying to touch all aspects of that society should embrace. We're dealing with the environment, and we're dealing with our schools. Tomorrow we have a tree planting.
Yes.
Tree planting at our 4 primary schools and the Lone Secondary School. And we will be planting at least one fruit tree, because I think that a lot of our youngsters don't like fruit now. They don't know about the seed grapes and so on that we used to go up in the hill or go by the beach, by the beach and pick. So we'll be planting some fruit trees. That happens on the 9th. Now, after that particular exercise, we move to a lime, and we'll be having a number of these lime and karaoke sessions across the parish. And what we've done, let me say this, because sometimes, planning a calendar of activities for an entire parish is a difficult task.
Yes.
Because you get communities that will tell you, But when we looked at what would have happened in 2020, we determined that this is the parish organizing committee, and I want to thank all those, by shout them out this morning, members of the parish organizing committee, taken from all areas in St. Lucie, and also in different from made up of persons from the church, the schools, etc., sports clubs, etc. You know, and we look to put things in place where you would have an activity as much as possible to embrace, if not, well, definitely not a single community, but an area.
Yes.
Right? For example, we would have something in Crab Hill to take care of the Coles Cave, Greenages, the Swithens, you know, Content, that area. We have something, an event at Checker Hall. And Checker Hall is huge. I'm not going to say that because they may tell me don't come back to St. Lucie. You know, I was going to say the Checker Hall, they call Checker Hall the capital of St. Lucie, but that is debatable. I'm not getting into that at all.
Right.
But we have an activity for Checker Hall. And Checker Hall, you can come from Clean Cakes, Half Moon Ford, Sutherland Hill, Bob's, Broomfield, those areas to that
Village.
They Fustic to that particular event. Then we go in central St. Lucie, where we'll be having, for example, our and we embrace the schools, our spelling bee activity. With our youngsters, our quiz, that is where we will be asking them or educating them in relation to St. Lucie. They need to know things about St. Lucie, you know, and we having the schools involved in that particular activity.
But the biggie for a lot of people is that marquee event on the 21st, January the 21st.
Yes, everyone is looking forward to that particular event at Archers Bay.
Yes.
The renewed and the I would call it reactivated Archers Bay, and you're going to see the transformation there. We're going to be giving opportunity to vendors to come and play their trade and so on. We're going to be having a kids zone in that particular event as well, and it's an event that starts at 10 o'clock in the morning and finishes at 5 in the evening. So it's a full day of activities, and I'm not going to tell you all. I want you to come and see. I invite you to come down home too for that event. Yes, you. Yes, you.
And one of the other things I think as a signature to what happens in St. Lucie for the gathering is the Pickle Saturdays all over the place.
Oh, that pickle Saturday coming out of our when we did it in 2020. That Pickle Saturday was a hit. Would you believe? I didn't know. And it's not just about pork. It's not just pickling pork. You can pickle chicken wings. You can pickle chicken. You know, and because there's some persons that don't like the what you call pig foot. I hear somebody refer to as pig foot sauce and all that kind of thing, right? But you know, but you're pickling. You can pickle whatever can be pickled. It'll be done that day. And there are various locations. There are various locations across the parish. We invite persons who play their trade from, and they do their business, their normal business on Saturdays. We include them. Persons from Allendale, persons from Crab Hill, persons from Pike Corner, you know, all over. So we're going to have these Pickle Saturdays, and these Pickle Saturdays will be across the entire month.
Yes.
Across the entire month, so that you can come. If you missed it on one Saturday, you'll miss it. You'll be able to fall in, and you'll get to taste the lovely pickle that is done in St. Lucie the following Saturday. So every Saturday until we get to the end of the month, we'll be having a Pickle Saturday for sure.
So folks, there's a lot. We could have spent the whole morning talking about this, but we cannot. Peter Phillips, thank you so much as always, Member of Parliament for St. Lucie. You know, and I really want to encourage all of you, Peter says me too, all of us, to come now home, to really be a part of the celebrations in St. Lucie for the gathering.
We didn't get to talk about the road tennis. Don't forget.
Listen, there's a lot. Where can we find all this information though, by the way?
We are sharing this information on the website for the gathering. You can find that you can find that information. And the thing is that you change as you move on,
right.
because there are a number of other events coming on board because we're keeping it happening.
So you got to keep tabs of this by heading to the website. I got to go. They keep telling me, wrap up, but thank you so much. I want to encourage all of you, wherever you are, to come now home. Come now to St. Lucie, in other words, home. And you can find out and enjoy all the celebrations. Next month is St. Peter, but this month of January, have faith. Come down. Let's do St. Lucie. We'll take a break here. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
18 now to go to 7 o'clock. I told you January, as you know, is Drug Awareness Month, and so often every January we connect with the National Council on Substance Abuse, not just to hear what they're up to, but to also reinforce the information to you about how we can all partner in managing abuse of substances. And I said it broadly as substances because there's so many different types of substances that people abuse. And so I'm happy to be joined this morning by the Deputy Manager of the National Council on Substance Abuse, Troy Wickham, and next to him is Nicolette Williams. She is of Verdon House. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning. Good morning, Barbados.
Happy Drug Awareness Month, if you want to say that.
Thank you. I would echo your sentiments. Happy anniversary to the NCSA and happy Drug Awareness Month to Barbados.
What's the anniversary?
We'll be celebrating really 30 years. We have been in existence for 30 years.
You've grown up now.
Yeah, we are adults.
And this growing up, what have you learned about not just the awareness of drug abuse, but about yourselves as people?
We have learned over the years that basically we want to see persons accepting substance use and substance abuse as what we call a public health issue, not just a matter for the judiciary. It's important for Barbados to understand that substance abuse and substance use is a public health disease, is an addiction, is a sickness, and we must help each other, collaborate with each other to basically combat this issue.
And what are you seeing in terms of the ages of people who are now having this addiction?
Over the years, we have recognized that as we conduct our research, that persons as early as 7 admit to using some substance in their lifetime, at least once, or being exposed to substances. And one of the main places they are exposed to the substances at the home. or from friends or from family members. And this has been concerning for us as we progress.
You know, when you call the number 7, it hit me at the heart, at the core, because these are our treasures, our little ones that we love dearly. But to hear that they're struggling in that sense with some level of addiction because they've been exposed to it, it makes you shudder because you question what's going on.
I wouldn't say that they're basically addicted, but I can say as, culturally, that when you're at home, your granny, your mother, your uncle, your brother, your sister, say, have a shot of rum, have a shot of brandy for the worms. And that, over time, can lead to problematic use as persons continue or have the appetite then for substances, especially alcohol.
And then they find themselves by you, Nicolette.
Yes, that is so true. They do, both men and women, yes. So we've realized as a residential and treatment facility, Verdun and Marina House, that when clients express further in their therapeutic journey, that they do start from ages under 10 years old. So yes.
So how do you begin, Nicolette, to unravel that addiction? Because it's something else happening in the mind that is leading to that. How do you begin to identify that so that that patient, to use that word, is able to accept and then change?
Well, we are a 12-step and mental health facility, so we do have recovering addicts who have long years of sobriety and clean time who work face-to-face with these clients. So we do follow a 12-step program where our first step is to admit that we are unmanageable and powerless to the drug. So that is the first step with continuous treatment work with the clients, that they eventually, and we hope, and we work with them day after day, for them to see that they were actually powerless to the drug, and it's to accept that. Once they do, without the denial and the guilt, and we go through all of that trauma, therapeutic interventions every single day, we do hope that there is hope at the end for them to accept that, yes, I am an addict. Yes.
And I'm glad you said every single day because it's a daily struggle.
Correct.
Some people forget to brush their teeth. Imagine if it's drugs, your addiction, it leads you to the point where you have to have it.
Yes.
And that's a challenge that we have sometimes because it leads to other types of behaviors, Troy, that in itself can damage not just the individual but their loved ones.
Yes, the families. It's important that support is given to the families, especially the close families and the home of persons who are addicted to substances. Hence the reason for Drug Awareness Month and our theme. Our theme is basically NCSA strengthening prevention. And they always say, like the good old adage, prevention is better than cure.
Yeah, indeed it is. So what's your plan for prevention?
Basically to educate the public on the dangers, the harms associated with drug use. And we start with research. Our research is key to employing or adapting or implementing what we call evidence-based projects and programs. And we do this through collaborations and through mechanisms. And one of our major mechanisms that has been functioning for, I can say, just about consistently for over 13 years is the Barbados Drug Information Network, which includes agencies like the Substance Abuse Foundation, which we call agencies from the demand reduction side of things, and the supply control, which is mainly law enforcement, which give us a overall situation, overall picture of the drug situation in Barbados. And we actually disseminate this report yearly, and it will be disseminated January the 29th.
Okay, so it's targeted.
It's targeted. It's targeted.
You know, we oftentimes, when we as a society begin to discuss things, we often go to the one plaster that says, start in the schools. Is that an approach that you guys take as well?
Of course, we have programs in our primary schools, though that the research has shown that early intervention, especially early childhood intervention, can lead to what we call delaying the onset of drug use or preventing it totally. So they give persons the facts surrounding the harms associated, especially young ones, the harms associated with drug use, what to look for, the dangers of using substances, which can lead to problematic use in their adulthood.
Nicolette, what do I look for? So that I don't miss the signs.
You see, I want to echo what Troy is saying, because we at Substance Abuse Foundation, we also have a program called Teen Intervene in our secondary school programs. And as they are in the primary schools, we don't want to forget the teenagers, because they also continue what they didn't learn in primary or in their younger years, take it into the schools. And we know that the these adolescents take on a different journey now, and they're very open and honest about where they're at. So Teen Intervene, we are in secondary schools across Barbados, and we actually echo what Troy and his team at NCSA does. But additionally, we add the psychoeducational aspect and the emotional and social learning aspect as well, because youngsters, children and teenagers, they learn differently. So we want to be able to not just add the academics and the educational aspect. We want to make them learn from a more nonverbal, creative intervention ways, because that's how they are interested in learning and knowing about the substances and knowing about saying no to when someone asks them, do you want something, and know what those signs what signs they need to look out for. So, yeah.
Psychosocial, you're playing with my mind.
Sorry about that.
No. I'm being serious, because it starts in here.
Yeah.
My
Exactly.
desire starts here. How
Curiosity.
I think there you go. And then you're talking about the other social interventions as well. So it's how we relate one with the other, but it triggers from my mind.
Yes.
And as I was listening to both, I kept thinking, this is indoctrination. This is indoctrination. Is that a fair comment?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can say that. Yes, it's important that persons involved in what we call the drug demand reduction field understand that it starts with a person's perception to harm to these substances. So if I see nothing wrong or with any substance that I don't think it can be dangerous to my health or to my family or to the community, then I may get curious.
Yes.
So then that will impact my attitude and my behaviors. And that's what we try to prevent from early childhood interventions. Basically introducing the perception of harm, try to let them know using drugs are dangerous. We also have a program at the NCSA, Drugs and Life Skills, in our secondary schools, where we expose person again to drug education. We try to use alternatives such as sports, such as drama, and such as songs as alternatives to drug use and to keep the youth engaged. As we know, as teenagers, you want to fit in.
I remember.
We always want to fit in. We always want to be with the cool crew.
Yes.
And if it's trending to say to be using any substance, then we tend to lean to that. So it's important to give persons the facts as the NCSA.
I could well imagine the challenge you guys have in handling this, because the stigma.
Yes.
When we think of mental health, we know the stigma there. But then when you think of drug dependency, there's a stigma to that as well. So when you don't want to show up in an environment where everybody says, oh, he's walking through that door, that means
Exactly.
Yes.
For sure. For us at the NCSA, confidentiality is very, very important. As you said, there's a stigma surrounded with substance use, because as soon as a person, even in the workplace, no one wants to admit, well, look, I'm addicted. I have a problem with alcohol. I'm afraid of being obviously terminated from my job. And it's important for us to educate the public again about what we call recovery-friendly workplaces, which is all-encompassing, which include management, colleagues, treatment facilities, NCSA, to have a program in place for the staff, to encourage them to be rehabilitated and to be reintegrated back in the workforce.
So there's a lot of ignorance still. This is a whole month. I mean, we're still at the 8th day of the month. There's a lot of activities that you guys are up to. Talk to me a little bit about how you're approaching this month and getting that sensitization on the road.
I can say Saturday the 11th, we'll be having a community drive-through in the northern districts, starting with St. Lucie. I see the Minister was just here speaking to the gathering, and it's important for us we'll be driving through St. Lucie with what we call a community drive-through, sharing important messages, making stops, engaging the community about the harms associated, drug prevention messages, how the services the NCSA conduct, and we start there. Then we obviously start with God. We're having a church service. It starts at 8:30 at Silver Sands Church of God. We're encouraging persons to come and worship with us. Or stakeholders will be present.
Yes.
So we're encouraging.
Nicola, are you going?
I am going, yes.
She just confirmed to you.
Yes, we're inviting the public to come and worship with us. And then we have what we call an open day, which will be January the 15th. We're inviting schools, the public to come and visit the NCSA. Hear what we do, see what we do, engage with the staff, get to meet our staff, get to meet some of our stakeholders as well. And it's important for the community to be immersed in the community as the NCSA.
In other words, do not be afraid of the NCSA.
Do not be afraid. Do not see us as the drug police.
Correct. You are there actually like a parent that says, I just went right back to the Bible for a second. You know, when that prodigal son came back, the father did not judge him. The father did not in any way create that distance between them at all and say, oh, you went off and do what you want to do, no, you come back to me. There was none of that judgment done at all. And so that's the NCSA that says, I welcome you back. I will even throw out the fatted calf to you. You know, I will do what I have to do to redeem you. And that is the approach that I would hope that people see and hear when you engage with them in your public engagements as well. But it's more than public engagement that will be necessary. So when that person finds themselves struggling, and as the individual who feels distance from the family, Nicolette, who feels as if nobody seems to be hearing me, I need help. Can they walk into you and say, I need help?
No, there is a procedure that they need to follow, and that procedure, basically, we have a hotline. And after, if you want to contact that hotline, you can. And then our hotline facilitator will direct you to the psychiatric hospital. And I want to say that we hold your hand through that process. We have the stakeholders at the psychiatric hospital where we have consultant psychiatrists where we have a close, healthy relationship with, that they understand the kind of person that reaches out to us on the hotline, that they will help us and work with us. And then they will take on the mantle when that person attends to the assessment, and then we follow through with that from our admission coordinator. And that person that is interested in getting help, then that we take that mantle and we walk that person over to Verdun or Marina House. And then we start with them building a therapeutic relationship with them.
I listened to you and I felt what you said.
Thank you.
And got me off completely. Because you said holding their hands.
Yeah.
But the tone with which you said it says to me there's a level of caring. And so there's no need to fear. There's no, so you were able to talk to us about the process without making it seem as though it was such a difficult thing to do. Reach out by calling the hotline. Starts there.
Yes.
Then someone holds your hand and guides you through the process to not just redemption, but recovery.
Yeah.
And that's so important.
Yeah.
But the same thing happens with the NCSA as well.
Exactly. You can call us. Our number is 535-6272, or we're on social media at the NCSA Barbados. It's important for us. We have a counseling department. We're free of charge. Where persons obviously can call at any time. We're here to help. We have an intake process as well, and we also hold your hand throughout the process. We understand the sickness of the disease of addiction, and it's important for the way the Barbados understand is the disease, and not say, well, look, is a moral judgment for persons. Oh, he's a drug user, he's a pyro, she's a pyro, and it's important for us to hold those persons who are actually experiencing drug addiction.
But it's hard for a mother, particularly the mother, to watch their child struggle in this way and feel hopeless, and sometimes they resort to get out of here. I close that door. Don't let him or her walk back in here because I can't handle the drama that comes with it. And your appeal to parents and to family today is
to embrace, speak to professionals, speak to the NCSA, speak to persons at Verdun House. It's important to speak to them. They too need support. They need probably more support than the person who is experiencing drug addiction. It's important to understand the disease of drug addiction. Many persons don't understand that disease. So it's important then to speak to professionals, get help, call the NCSA, you can call Verdun House. It's important to get as much information as possible. Understand it's not a one-stop shop where a person can just be, boom, they have recovered. No, it's a lifelong disease, and persons can recover, as Nicolette said, for 15 years, and one incident happened and caused them to relapse. And they must understand that. It's important.
I want to add that even in our first time collaborating with the NCSA, we have a couple of events as well within this month. And when Troy said that there are persons that have recovered that can help persons that want to get help, we actually have our jazz, not Christmas, I'm still in the Christmas mood. I'm so sorry. Our jazz event at the Frank Collymore Hall on January 25th, where we have one or two of our recovering addicts that have gone through the treatment facility that will be performing and who are honestly telling their story of recovery. We also have our recovery hike on January 18th. Amazing experience.
That's a very good day, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder why. And our open day, just like NCSA, but at Verdun and Marina House on the 16th and the 23rd, where the secondary and primary schools are invited to see live and direct what the residential program looks like, and to know the do's and don'ts. So
I wonder if producer, I wonder if we could travel along on one of those tours.
Sure,
and see it
you guys are invited, yes.
Because it's again, demystifying. It is nothing scary. It's a solution. And I was saying this to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital yesterday, because having had my experience at the hospital, now I don't have that fear of the hospital as before. And I'm not saying that you have to go through an addiction to not have the fear, but knowledge empowers you. And take it from there. Take it from there.
Totally correct. They say knowledge is power. If you can actually see, my first visit to Verdun House was, for me, eye-opening. It's the serenity of the place.
And that is the prayer that we live on. We live for every day. It's our anthem. So
it's a beautiful place. It's important that the public come and engage, especially with the staff or persons who have recovered, and see that there are champions out there. Is live through other person's experiences.
There are champions out there.
Champions.
See, I hold on to certain catchphrases. You guys are really good at this. Quickly, Troy. Your number to NCSA?
535-6272, and you can visit us on our social media handles at NCSA Barbados.
535-6272.
72.
And
our
Nicolette?
hotline is 243-0038.
243-0038. The number, the hotline. You'll have me all enthused now. I'm so excited really for what's happening this month, and I really want to commend both of you. Troy Wickham, the Deputy Manager at the NCSA, and Nicolette Williams, who is working with Verdun House. I want to encourage you, if you know someone who needs the assistance, reach out.
We're here to help.
Yes, correct.
We're here to help.
They use the phrase, they'll hold your hand, and they literally will. So please do reach out. Thank you both.
Thank
All
you.
the best.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You too. Mornin Barbados continues in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
2 minutes after 7 o'clock, let's bring you up to date on some news now. Government is taking steps to lead by example regarding providing employment for people with disabilities. Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey says Clause 42 of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Bill 2024 states that every ministry will be required to employ qualified people with disabilities. He made that announcement while introducing the bill to the House of Assembly yesterday.
The government is committing to hiring persons with disabilities. The Ministry of People Empowerment has already begun that process. We've hired, I think, about 7 persons in the last few years, and we will hire more. What we've seen, and what the Honourable Member for St. James North spoke of in this place on the last bill, was that persons with disabilities often come to work and do better, stay at the desk, do their work, do the reports on time, show up on time, have a better work ethic in many cases than people who do not have a disability. So while you may not hire because you feel you're getting less in the deal, you should hire because you're getting more oftentimes than you bargained for.
The minister further added that Clause 51 of the bill states that people with disabilities should not be denied insurance solely on the basis of their disability. He says there were many meetings with insurance providers about this issue.
Most of them will tell you that they do not offer such discrimination. And in fact, persons with disabilities can get all kinds of insurance without any problem. And they said so. The only problem was that they were saying so to a room full of persons with disabilities who were denied insurance on several occasions. Several occasions. People being denied insurance for things that have nothing to do whatsoever with their disability, but for them, no other justification is being offered. And we had conversations with the insurance company. In fact, the honorable member for St. James North was particularly stinging in his rebuke, I recall, of the insurance companies during that meeting.
In his contribution, opposition leader Ralph Thorne is suggesting that government sets up a reinsurance fund to help people with disabilities who may be encountering issues accessing coverage.
What the government needs to consider in this event is a reinsurance fund, not solely to guarantee to the insurance company a profit, but to guarantee to the person of disability the prospect. And not only the prospect, but the reality that he will have access to insurance like all other persons, since you cannot force the insurance company to insure him. Place the insurance company in a position in which it will have access to a fund of reinsurance.
Well, the second term of school got off to a smooth start for thousands of students and teachers, even though one primary school had to close early owing to a lack of water. This update is coming from Deputy Education Officer Julia Beckles, who explained that there was a difficulty with the valve on the water tank at Hillaby Turners Hall Primary.
And this would have resulted in the school having to be closed just after lunch, out of an abundance of caution as it relates to safety and security for all, because obviously the bathrooms would have been impacted. Apart from that, we think that we had a very good day.
Ms. Beckles says the matter has been fixed and there is school today. Now, Barbados cruise tourism industry continues to experience significant growth. Officials are reporting close to a 25% increase in arrivals from January to November 2024 as compared with the same period of 2023. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism and International Transport, Francine Blackman, made that announcement as a luxury yacht made its inaugural visit to the island.
During the period of January to November 2024, we saw a 23% increase in total cruise ship arrivals over the same period for the previous year. And this has been confirmed certainly by our Barbados Statistical Department, and they reported a total of 649,125 cruise arrivals for the period January to November 2024 over 114 cruise arrivals for the same period.
That officials continue to pay close attention to improving and building out the luxury segment of the cruise industry. She said that's why Barbados is pleased to welcome the ship, the newest super yacht in the prestigious Ritz-Carlton line, featuring 224 suites with private terraces and a passenger capacity of 448.
The luxury segment of the cruise industry will certainly continue to be a critical target audience of our overall tourism marketing strategy. Based on aggressive marketing activities to position Barbados as a premier port destination in the southeastern Caribbean. We look forward to welcoming more luxury yachts like the Ritz-Carlton Ilma to Barbados.
Although Barbados and the Caribbean have been under severe cyber attacks, the response has been very limited to non-existent owing to a lack of resources. That's according to cybersecurity expert Neil Hines. He is a member of an international cybersecurity team on island to assist both the public and private sectors build resilience in this regard. Rachel Agard attended the opening of the Caribbean Digital Forensics and Cybersecurity Summit 2025, and she filed this report.
Cybersecurity and information technology are not the same. So says President of Digital Technologies and Services LSC, Neil Hines. He says, given the many breaches Barbados and the wider Caribbean region have experienced over the last year, it shows the vulnerability in the system. And Mr. Hines says in every organization, there needs to be at least 2 people qualified in cybersecurity to fend off such attacks.
Boards as well as organizations, the management did not get to understand that aspect. They think that, is IT related, pass it on to the IT people. And they're overburdening those IT people because those IT professionals basically, they don't know where to go. So if somebody say, hey, we got an attack. That's a normal phishing email. Don't worry about it. That's the wrong approach.
President and founder of the Cyber Doctor, Dr. Stephen Boyce, says his assessment reveals while efforts have been made, more needs to be done to boost cybersecurity. He calls for further development of the people and processes.
We have started to do the right things, but we need to get to where we need to get to through things like what we're doing this week with the summit. And so I'm looking forward to working not only with the private sector, but the public sector in ensuring that they're leveraging technology more efficiently, more securely to meet the needs of not only the citizens, but also, most importantly, protecting the information of the citizens and visitors and throughout the CARICOM as a whole.
And Managing Director of CARISEC Global, Edward Millington, says the interest in protecting digital infrastructure is there, but more buy-in is required across the entire landscape.
It's not really our culture at this point in time, and we must be honest, cybersecurity is not our number one priority. If you look at the government itself, there's so many different programs and businesses to fight every single day, but it's still very difficult. It's still not our culture. We have a number of breaches, but still it has not raised the level of awareness that is needed to the continuing effort in terms of implementing cybersecurity, different postures to help prevent cybercrime.
The summit runs for 2 days and will end tomorrow with an in-depth question and answer segment. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
To some sports now, West Indies team coach Andrew Kohli says it's time the batters start posting match-winning totals. Coach Kohli was speaking in Pakistan ahead of 2 matches, test series, which begins next week. He noted that the Windies bowlers have been doing their part to help the team to win, but the batters need some consistency. Now, as far as the preparation process is concerned, Coach Kohli says they're getting ready to handle any and all conditions. That first test is January the 17th. That's a look at the morning news. We have more news here on CBC TV at 12 noon in CBC Newsday. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, time literally waits for no man or woman. It's now 13 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Wednesday morning, and that means that there's one more day to go until Q Day. That's right, tomorrow is Thursday. So we're talking about the resumption of Q now. And joining us here on set is our marketing specialist here at the CBC, Nicole Collins. Nick, good morning.
Good morning, Pearson. How are you?
I'm well. I'm glad you're on your best behavior since we give each other trouble all day long
Daily.
in the office.
Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to the listeners.
You too.
Thank you.
So you've changed.
I'm trying for 2025.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
You should try it too.
I was going to say I was going to try along with you.
Okay, good.
Wish me well, eh?
I wish you well.
All right. Now, we have a saying on Q in FM is a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Q Day.
Q Day.
And then we go into the rest of the days.
Yes.
So Thursdays are Q Days. And,
Yes.
and that's where everyone from everywhere congregates and have a ball.
Yes.
So we're back.
Q in the community is back, the 2025 edition, episode 1, this Thursday, tomorrow. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure when Q is resuming, it starts tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow is Q Day. The first Q in the community for 2025 will be held at Terrell Car Park. Remember, we start at 11, and everything is ready from 11 o'clock.
Right.
And we just want to encourage persons to come on down if you've never been to Q, because I can't believe there are actually still people in Barbados who've never been to Q.
Not at least once.
Not
you know?
at least once.
Yeah.
Even Pearson has been to a Q.
All right, say it like that. Yes. Even I have been.
Yeah.
And that's the whole beauty of the whole thing. It's such a wonderful inorganic in its own way, because it's not even planned, but people just socialize naturally.
Yes.
Well, that speaks to our nature. That's what Q does.
Q is family. Q is, as we say, we've coined the phrase, Q is good for you.
Yes.
And Q is authentically Bajan. However, it's one of those brands that it's a cherished brand in Barbados, but has managed to creep its way into the region and internationally. As you know, we've been able to export Q in the community. Persons are always calling to ask, when can I get a Q in my location? We've done New York last year, we did England last year, and there are other things on the table for this year, for 2025 and beyond. But of course, you know, Q cannot be possible without its sponsors. And we have Banks Beer. Banks is the official beer of Q. You can bank on Banks at Q. Right? So, of course, I want to make sure that we give kudos to the sponsors, to make sure that I didn't forget anybody. I have my notes. So, of course, you know, it's the Banks Q in the community, and alongside Banks we have Deputy Beer, Guinness, and Guinness Smooth, and then we have Hanshalinnis. Hanshalinnis is back on board again with their suite of products: Barefoot Wines, Rider Hard Wines, Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker is the official whiskey of Q in the community. Smirnoff Ice, Smirnoff Vodka, Black and White Whiskey, Pepsi, Juicy, 7-Up, White Rock Ginger Ale, and their soda water. And then we have Massey Distribution with the official rum of Q in the community, White Oak Rum and Fernandez Black Label Rum. And then in these days, you need something to keep you hydrated, even though you have those drinks. So you need water.
Yes.
When you drink everything that you drink, you still will need water. So BBC is on board with the official water of Q in the community, the Sandy Water and Minute Maid Juice. Q it wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. And all of these sponsors were on board last year, and they came back on. So that speaks to the relationship and the value that they as sponsors receive from coming on board for Q in the community.
And we sincerely thank all of them for seeing the value in the relationship and maintaining that relationship. We wish to maintain that relationship with you as well. Yeah. So tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to Terrell Car Park. In the car park itself. I mean, but Terrell in itself is quite historic.
Okay, so we're not in Terrell complex itself, but we're actually in the car park on the other side of the road. So that's considered their car park.
Okay.
Yes. So
right in the corner.
Yes, right in the corner. By the traffic lights. But when you get in that vicinity, there will be no doubt. You'll see the feather banners and so forth.
You hear the music.
And you'll hear the music. You'll see the people congregating and so forth. And Pierce, I'm glad that you said that, because that is one of the things that we want to reinforce. Q in the community started in small communities. And because we become a big brand, it doesn't mean that we will forget where we came from. So throughout this year, because we do 50 Qs a year, there are 52 weeks, we're going to get 2 weeks of break. We do 50 Qs in 1 year.
Yes.
So throughout this year, 2025, you will see us still creeping back into small communities, and we make Q work. If we go to small community, we make it work. If we go to a medium-sized community, we make it work. If we go to a large area, we'll make it work, because Q is good for you, and wherever it is, we'll make it work.
I love that slogan. We'll make it work.
Yes.
It will work. Just trust in CBC marketing to be able to help you there with us.
Definitely.
So 2025 looks like another bumper year.
Yes, it does.
I know there's people watching saying, but you know what? Now that Nicole has talked about it, I really need to get my date in there. What do you say?
I've disappointed a few people already for the year, and we're only at day 8.
Yes.
Right. A number of people have called, oh, I want this date. I said, I'm sorry, but all of our dates are reserved. So I want to say to persons, if you know you want to have a Q in the community, contact us here at CBC. You can contact me at 467-5465, and I can put you on the wait list. Or if you're ambitious enough, I encourage persons to book for 2026. We've already started to book for 2026. That is for persons wanting to host Q in the community. However, I want to say to persons who have businesses, if you're interested in getting that brand awareness for your business, we have a very engaged audience, an audience who's very open to sampling, and you get that information out. If you have a product or a service, the Q audience is definitely an audience that you would want to
tap into
and reach out to. So call us and you can come on board. You can come on board. Yes, we listed sponsors, but we're not going to turn away anyone.
Yes, indeed. So 467-5465. That's the number to call for Nicole to see how we can help you really realize some of your desires and your wishes and your wants for 2025 and beyond.
Yes.
If you can't meet the date that you're requesting, we'll put you on a list. Because there are times when that list may have to be updated for whatever reason, and we might call you.
Definitely.
So always be on the ready for that call.
It is always good to be on the wait list, because if something should happen, life happens, person.
Yes.
And you may have a plan, but then something happens and you can't. When we call to finalize things with you, you say, but I can't do it at this point in time. So then someone on the wait list gets the opportunity to jump on board.
I know oftentimes Q in the community, there's a theme.
Yes.
Is there a theme for tomorrow, Thursday, or is it just an open?
We're back.
Oh, all right.
Yes. But look out for the themes, because remember, Valentine's is coming. And the Q audience is as I said before, they're very engaged. They're very receptive to themes and so forth. So you know that when it's Valentine's, they're coming out in their red. And red and white. For Independence, they'll come out. If whatever we tell them to do, they will respond. If we told them we were going to Culpeper Island for a Q, I assure you they would get there.
Book a boat.
Book a boat. And I'm saying that as well. I also want to say thank you to the Transport Board for providing the Q bus service. Our Q bus driver, official Q bus driver, Smoothie, he takes our patrons to and fro safely. So we could not say thank you to them.
I saw that he recently got married.
Yes,
he invited some of the Q people to his wedding.
Yes.
That was fun. Well done, Smoothie.
The Q is a family.
It is indeed.
Yes, his wedding, his marriage was formed at Q. Yes. But I'm not going to say anymore.
Right, so those things can happen for you at Q in the community. And so we want to encourage you tomorrow, Thursday, to make your way to Terracotta area. Right there at the corner. You can't miss it. That's where we are, in the Terracotta car park.
Yes.
We get going from 11 in the morning.
Yes.
Radio will be there with you live from 12 noon.
Yes,
and we're sticking around with you till it's done.
Well, the radio broadcast finishes at 5. But that gives you the opportunity, if you cannot make it out to Q in the community, to take in what is happening there, and also to take in the karaoke. If you are online, you can watch our stream on Q100.7 FM via Facebook. And if you just want to see the photos, because we get lovely photos every week with our Q family, we're on Instagram as well, Q100.7 FM. Personally, we have persons watching Q in the community from as far as Belgium, right? Ghana. Every week you will see the flags coming up of the different nations, places where persons are watching Q in the community. So we know that Q in the community is definitely one of our strong brands. It's a cherished brand and authentically Bajan.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
It works. And they're going to be there with you because they work. Nick, thank you.
Thank you too.
How was Old Year's Night, by the way? How did
I wanted to talk about that.
You thought I was going to forget?
I thought you had forgotten. Old Year's Night was a resounding success. It really was. It was a collaboration between CBC Q in the community and Export Barbados at Pelican Island. And it was like a street party.
Look at your screens. Look at that. Look at the party going on. People were all dressed up to their finest.
Yes.
But they had a blast right there at Pelican.
And I'm glad that you said they're all dressed up in their finest, because that was one of the things that we noticed. That event gave persons the opportunity to come as they wish. So there were persons who would, as Bajans would say, were dressed to the nines.
Yes.
But then there were persons who came as relaxed as they wanted, and they didn't feel out of place, as we would say. So we want to say thank you to Export Barbados for collaborating with us and bringing a resoundingly successful Q All Year's Night celebration.
That must have been the one activity on All Year's Night that had the most people.
I believe so.
I think so.
I think it was like, I remember Mr. Hill said to me when he left at 4:30, persons were in the morning, people were still coming to queue. Yes.
So
we have to say thank you. Thank you to our Q supporters for their unwavering support throughout the years in 2024. And we look forward to partnering with our partners and also to the support of the Q family.
Yes, so let's reconnect tomorrow, Q Day, Thursday, at the car park of Tyrrell Court. You cannot miss it. When you drive by, you will see the banners.
Yeah, hear the
you
music.
will hear the music. You will see the gathering, literally the gathering right there, as people come to dance and enjoy, to socialize, play games of domino and so forth, and just have a really great time. Thank you, Nicole, our marketing specialist here at the CBC, and your team of Danny and everyone else.
Everyone else. It's
for
not
working
me alone.
so hard to bring this activation to life every single Thursday for 50 weeks. That's a heavy, heavy load, but you do it well, and we thank you for your success.
Thank you so much.
You're
Have
very
a
welcome.
wonderful day.
You too.
Thanks.
Morning Barbados continues in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
26 minutes after 7 o'clock. Now let's talk about the life of a man who has done so much. He's a thespian, he's a designer, he is just an all-around great guy. But he also worked in radio, if you didn't know that, and that's because of the voice. We're talking about Patrick Foster, one man who we know well here on the island. And there's an exhibition, really, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but I want to welcome, to share more on this, Onika Small, who's a curator with the National Cultural Foundation. Onika, good morning. Good to see you in person.
Good morning, person. Good to see you as well. Happy New Year,
Likewise.
Barbados.
And as I said to her off camera, you're even more gorgeous in person than you are on the screen.
Thank you very much. I said I'm starting the year pretty.
There you go. See, she's curated well this morning.
That's right.
And you brought along with you Logan Thomas, who is also the guest curator for this exhibition. Welcome, Logan.
Thank you, Pearson. Good to be here.
Patrick, why are we doing this?
The National Cultural Foundation really wanting to support the creativity that is Patrick Foster. So I would have met him a couple years ago, and I met I almost like a gentle giant. He's a very amazing person, and over the years I've seen his artwork at a variety of shows. And when Logan and Patrick approached, we felt that there was nothing less than we could do than support a show of his work, especially at this time in his life.
Why especially at this time of his life?
Well, Patrick is celebrating himself, and I know Logan can maybe talk a little bit more about that. He is now what we would determine to be an elder. he has made it through. A lot of us have not. I believe Logan has said he's 82. A lot of us not even made it that far. You know what I mean? So, and he has given to Barbados consistently over those years in a diversity of art forms.
You're so artistic, you speak with your body. It's so wonderful watching you communicate. Logan, talk to me a little bit about meeting the man, Patrick Foster, and getting beneath the exterior that you saw, and what did that journey lead to?
Well, I first met Patrick during a NCF-sponsored acting workshop when I first moved back to Barbados. And he'll blush if I say this, but I credit him and Sonia Williams, who was his co-teacher on that, with helping me recover my soul. And when you sit with Patrick, he glows. He glows quietly, very self-deprecatingly. And he, anytime any positive attention is put towards him, he kind of he takes it, but he takes it with grace and a little bit of a, that's enough now.
Yes. Yeah. But I like the fact that you wanted to rediscover your soul, but you met the man who, even in all of your discovery, he was humble enough to say, that's enough now. And so you've learned a little bit about not just his humility, but the depth of who he is.
There is a lot of depth, and that's what I've been spending the last year working on, as we started talking about the possibility of having an exhibition. About a year ago, it came up in conversation, and him and I continued being friends after the acting workshop, and we started trying to see if we could make that work. It has taken a year to appreciate some of the depth that I can see. When you look at his works, whether it's his theatre performances, his directing, his writing, or his paintings, we're just featuring his paintings in the exhibition. When you look at them, look for that depth. It's there, and it is accessible if you're prepared to take a moment. I would say he's one of the few people whose art, few people who I've interacted with, whose art is an exploration of the soul, an exploration of what it means to be human. And I hope that other people get to experience that too.
And you know, Onika, that's a lived experience of Patrick. And it's just, I can't begin to him. It'll be good to have the conversation. I hope he's going to be at the exhibition so people can talk to him to understand how he arrived at who he is today, to find one's comfort in one's soul, in one's self. Talk to me a little bit about what you know of Patrick and what it means as a curator to be able to pull together all of these pieces.
I would say in this instance that Logan is the curator, but and he is pulling together the show, but what you have said is what he has conceptualized. So it is nice to know that we're almost vibrating on the same on the same level, because a lot of what Logan speaks about in his curatorial concept is going through periods of constraint but coming to a place of peace. And that's why I said it's important at this point that Patrick is 82, that he is at a point of peace in his life, and that through this show, which chronicles 30 years, that it will show that progression, not only in terms of his artwork, but where he is as a human being. Because Patrick, to me, not only as a curator, but as a person who just appreciates really beautiful art, his work tells stories in a magical way when you see them. And I always am, I'm reminded of some of the work that I saw by him, and he captures nighttime scenes. Very few artists capture night light and do it so delicately and beautifully as Patrick. And when you look at his body of work that we've been looking at and seeing, you see that he has used his theater, and his life goes through everything that he does.
It must have been therefore difficult, Logan, to say, okay, this piece, not that piece. No, perhaps this piece instead. Talk to me about the challenge in determining which pieces will be on show and on exhibition.
Well, again, it's been a year. So there were many conversations about the work that was easily accessible in his studio.
Yes.
There was a lot of work that we found that he hadn't looked at in a very long time, that had either been too high for him to reach or too heavy for him to move. And so he hadn't seen it in ages, so we went through hundreds of pieces. And it was to try and figure out, well, what was the arc?
Right.
You know, where could I find a good story arc in the work? And for me, it was seeing the progression of a man. And the way I've sort of organized it in my head is the periods of tension in one's life when you feel like there might be two sides, whether inside or outside, back and forth. Then sort of coming to a certain level of acceptance of these seeming opposites towards going into a place of total acceptance and just being, whether there's positive or negative, light or dark. All of it together is what makes the experience of life.
You said it right. I was just going to say it if you didn't say it. You know, that's life, the journey of life. And so that's the theme of the exhibition, Patrick Foster Now, Lifeline. And you know, when we think of life, we think of from birth right through to maturity. And there's so many ups and downs that one goes through, but there are life lessons, and there are certain things that remain the same still. Because the values were taught from very early. So there's certain consistencies we'll probably see in the exhibition, right the way through of who Patrick is, but then we see how he managed those peaks and valleys because of that flat line of existence. And so the lifeline is what we're going to come to see. When is the exhibition, and where is it, and what times?
All right, so the exhibition opens this Saturday. That's January 11th at Queen's Park Gallery. It opens at 5 o'clock. Our running time is about 3 hours, so please get there before 8. We do want to make a disclaimer in a way that there will be partial to full nudity in some of the pieces, so we want people to be aware of that and to be sensitive to that nature, so that, you know, you guide yourselves accordingly. Yeah, so we're there. It's open to the public. So we're really asking people to come on down to celebrate with Patrick. And then we are open, I believe, until the very beginning of February. So people have about 4 weeks to come and see. And also I say make purchases. I'm always an advocate for, yes, come and enjoy the lessons, but also contribute to the creativity of a human being.
Absolutely. Queen's Park Gallery. And you're starting on Saturday coming. And then it continues to on Monday through Saturday?
Yes, Monday through Saturday, we're open 10 to 6 p.m.
Right. 5 o'clock this coming Saturday, by
5
the way.
o'clock. 5 o'clock this coming Saturday. All are welcome.
To see the exhibit, is it free? I can just walk right in?
It's free. Because of some of the sensitive nature of some of the work, we will be meeting people at the door just to let them know that they should be aware.
Yes. And that's fair. So if you're into art as just a consumer of art, or if you're into art as a creator of art itself, if you're just into life and understanding, then this exhibition is definitely for you. And if you have an appreciation of excellence, and that's what Patrick represents as well, this exhibition is for you. I know of him through his work on radio. He would have worked on one of the stations at our competitor, Starcom Network at the time, you know. So hearing him and then later meeting him by chance in the supermarket of all places, I got to see and experience what you, Logan, spoke about, the gentleness of the man and how his aura consumes you. Right away, you feel his presence.
You do.
And to have someone say that about you means that you've lived a good life.
He has indeed.
So. And you're very comfortable in your space and your skin. And that's Patrick. And I want all of you to come down and see Patrick Foster Now, Lifeline, at the gallery in Queen's Park. Remember, it starts on Saturday from 5. Be sensitive because there's some pieces that might... Anyway, Onique and her team will explain that to you when you go. And then Mondays through Saturdays, right there from 10 in the morning. So everyone needs to go. It's free of cost, but we encourage all of you to purchase a piece. Purchase a piece and make it part of your lifeline to experience Patrick Foster Now, Lifeline. Thank you so much, Logan Thomas, and thank you so much, my girl, Onika Small,
Thank
as
you
well.
so
Thank you
much.
very much as well, indeed. All the best with this exhibition.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll take a break. We're coming back with more on Morning Barbados in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
19 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock. I am always thrilled to meet people of excellence. And that's one person who I'll introduce to you right now because she leads and manages a budget of $10 million US. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that on your bank account for just a moment and you have to decide how it's spent? How you make money on it. That's what she does every single day. We're talking today to Natasha Hemmings. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Girl Scouts Heart of New Jersey. Natasha, morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Barbados.
Sing it, sing it. You dare not, right? But when you hear yourself described as such, how does it sound in your head?
It sounds miraculous. It sounds, I'm just blessed. I'm blessed coming from Barbadian parentage and being able to excel in leadership and run an organization of my size in the U.S. it's amazing. And it just makes me feel every day as I get up in the morning, just blessed.
How much of who you've been as a girl growing up in Barbados you use in what you do now?
I use everything that I have learned here growing up in Barbados. And because my parents are so strong representatives of the culture here, the family here, the people here, that takes into everything that I do in the U.S., everything that I do with my staff, and the volunteers who serve the 14,000 girls that we do programming for with Girl Scouts Heart in New Jersey.
But you're a trailblazer. You are the first African American woman.
Yes, I am the first, and I have committed that I will not be the last. I am working on a succession plan right now that whoever comes behind me will have much more than I did when I started. It is a job that you can't explain the day-to-day because it is so varied and complex. But I basically am the representative of girl leadership and empowerment in the state of New Jersey. And because Girl Scouts is the icon that it is, the iconic nonprofit that it is, it gives me the opportunity to be innovative in ways that others around the country are looking at me as an example, to be able to be a trailblazer for programs, initiatives, lots of things that girls want and need in order for them to be their best selves.
How important was it to have an organization structure, a structured organization for Girl Scouts? Because my thinking here, and I could be wrong, is that oftentimes it's voluntary.
It is voluntary. And actually here in Barbados, Girl Guides is completely voluntary. The commissioners here and the leaders here completely volunteer. My staff of 52 is paid. However, we are supported by about 95% of the volunteers that lead Girl Scout troops in the U.S. are volunteers. But the structure of the organization comes from Girl Scouts of the USA, which is based in New York. And there are 111 Girl Scout councils, businesses like mine that are run in the US. So there is a structure in place, but each of us runs our own 501c3 nonprofit organization. So I have a budget of $10 million that I operate on an annual basis. And so do my peers. Some smaller councils, 2, 3, 4 million, and some even larger councils, 40, 50 million US dollars a year.
What do your parents think about you now? There's little girl Natasha who ran around barefoot.
Yes, play sticky in the mud in Howell's Crossroads. Yes, yes. My parents are very proud. I'm also very proud to be a Bajan. You know, I carry that with me in everything that I do in the U.S. And my father, Ricky Durant, is famously here a musician, and was, you know, a part of many of the cultural music bands that played here in the 60s and 70s, you know, Teenage College Thrillers, you know. I mean, you remember those those bands and those musicians. And so I've always had a cultural connection to Barbados, and this is where I plan to spend my last days and when I retire in a couple of years.
That's good to hear. But then you take your grounding here, you said you apply it to work. Let's look outside of work for a second, the social. And being a Barbadian in New Jersey, fighting against other cultures and other practices and so forth, how has that part of your existence been?
Well, Barbados is always in a Bajan, right?
Yeah.
There's no way to get around what makes Bajan special.
Yes.
Regardless of where we go, we are a people that work hard, that believe in God, that are conscious of the people around us. We're always looking out for someone else. You know, that's one of the things that, you know, I learned from my father and my mother, that you're always going to be in a place to help someone else. So you do, right? You look out for your community. That's all a part of what Girl Scouting is. It's all a part of what being a Bajan is, and I do that in New Jersey, as well as do that here for Bajans who are looking to reconnect with Barbados.
Right. Regathering,
yes,
therefore,
regathering.
is one such.
Regathering.
Is there any way or anything about the regathering concept that you see that you, Natasha, can play a part?
There are huge ways that I can play a part. I started a business a couple of years ago called Home Drum, based on the concept that home drum beats first.
Yeah.
You know, that's a saying that my father told me many years ago, and I built this business on an issue that I was having, getting my dual citizenship to Barbados, and said there's got to be an easier way, and how can I help Bajans living abroad to get their dual citizenship and reinvest here and come back here and come home.
Yes, come long home.
Come long home. So I built this business in order, it's a document concierge service that brings important documents here to Barbados. I carry them myself and assist with applications, getting dual citizenship, passport, you know, anything like that, so that those living abroad, persons living abroad, can come home, can invest here.
Yes, and that's brilliant. We commend you for that. You could have gone to New Jersey, settle, say, that's Barbados. I'm now here and I shall be only consumed with what's here. But you're shaking your head saying,
I'm shaking my head because when Barbados is my home, right? I'm a dual citizen. I plan to retire here. I plan to make a space for my parents to come and go as they please. They still live in New Jersey. And I want others, I want my children to know that this is their home. I want my friends and family who have children to always be able to come home, regardless of whether they are bringing others to experience Barbados or if they are looking to settle here and be a part of the economic engine that makes Barbados so special. So the more people that I can encourage and I can help and assist them with acquiring their citizenship and coming back here to spend their US dollars, spend their pounds, I am going to be in service of doing that for as many as I can touch.
Natasha, you're going to make me cry. Because it's such a noble approach.
Not just a noble approach. I find that it is what God has put me on this earth to do. I found the difficulties myself in being able to do it, and I want to make sure that that trouble is not experienced by anyone else who is in the sound of my voice, who can hear my voice, who can see my struggle and what I have gone through, and who can experience Barbados. I do not want my children to ever lose connection with this place that I call home. And so I am encouraging, even the Barbados government is looking now to extend citizenship to grandchildren. Imagine what Ricky Durant applying for his granddaughter's citizenship would mean to her. She will always be connected to Barbados because of me, but at this point in time, the laws have not changed such that she could be a citizen of Barbados as well.
Wow. Pause for just a moment, Pearson. Okay, good. We've got that. So, keeping traditions alive now in New Jersey. And, you know, for us, the tradition is November is Conky month. There's Christmas, you know how we do a spread for Christmas, and on and on and on. Do you get the chance to do that?
We do get the chance to do that. Actually, this was my first Christmas in Barbados,
Really?
you know.
How was it?
Yes, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I had breakfast one place, lunch another place. I ate my way through Christmas, celebrated with my aunt who is homebound, so she doesn't go anywhere. You know, I brought her a blow-up Christmas tree, so she had lights in the house. And I spent the evening on the beach, watching the sun go down. And I've heard my parents talk about Barbados Christmas, and there's no place like it. There's so many celebrations here in January all the way down to December that anyone coming here to the island will get the full feel of what Barbados is all about. I have brought people here and they have not wanted to go home.
That's a good thing to hear.
Yes, it is wonderful. And many of the people that I have brought here to experience Barbados are asking, so when you're doing another trip, when you're hosting another excursion, when are you doing something so that I can extend to my family to come to Barbados? So more of them in 2025, I hope, will be gathering here.
That's sweet. So the girls, guys, let's get back to your job now. So we've traveled working in the space that you do, leading such an organization, and I mean, because of the vast land mass on which New Jersey operates, how are you able to connect all of that together seamlessly so that you're able to achieve your objectives?
So the Girl Scouts Heart in New Jersey covers 7 counties in the state. New Jersey is one of the most diverse regions in the U.S. and definitely in on the East Coast. And we are able to deliver programs to girls in a number of different ways, besides through their meetings on a weekly basis or bi-monthly basis. We have programs that our council does for girls, leadership programs. We also, in the last year, erected a mobile classroom. Right? So it's sponsored by Kean University, and the university helps us with programming for girls. In that mobile classroom that goes to schools, that goes to community centers, that goes wherever troops, Girl Scout troops are meeting, we do programs, everything from AI to robotics to streaming in experts from around the world to be able to deliver program to girls. That also is an opportunity for girls to learn about the different careers that are out there in the world, and for them to step outside of their school environment and do programs with their friends, have some fun, and learn something in between. Our area is covered by, helped with about 10,000 adults who volunteer to deliver programs for girls and to help them along the way. So we can get around our area by the help of volunteers and by the help of a very small staff and partners that enable us to expand our reach and advocate for things that are important to girls around the state.
Have you ever thought of having some partnership here with the Girl Scouts here to be able to deliver those programs to the benefit of our Scouters here as well?
I would love to expand here. As a matter of fact, last year in February, I brought 7 Girl Scout CEOs, other Black women who were leading in councils across the country, to Barbados to see Barbados for the first time. And there we had a meeting with the commissioner of the Girl Guides here so that we could do connection and maybe even start with pen pal programs between the guides here and the Girl Scouts in the 8 states that we do programming in.
How important is it to you to have women meet other women who look like themselves, successful women who look like them? Because you said you brought some other leaders here.
I did.
Black people.
Yes.
To meet other black people. How important is that kind of exchange to you?
That kind of connection really makes the difference. It's my father always tell me that, you know, you can't be where you can't see.
True.
Right? So for them to see other Black women here in Barbados wanting to give girls the opportunity to work on their courage, confidence, and character, and to make the world a better place, there was no other way to show them than show them themselves, right? The other thing is that girls will see me in a leadership role and say, well, I can do that, when they see someone standing who looks like them. So it's an important aspect that doesn't translate to other cultures the same way that it translates to us.
Yes. Natasha Hemmings, that little girl from Howells Cross Road down the road here, born of the Jurett family.
Yes.
It is such an immense pleasure to meet you. And I really want to commend you as not just a Barbadian to a Barbadian, but as a human being who you are, doing the tremendous work that you do as Chief Executive Officer of the Girl Scouts Heart of New Jersey.
Thank you.
Commend you on what you've been able to do and to encourage you to continue doing well what you do so well already.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
And to you as well. Thank you so much. Morning Barbados continues in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me, 6 a.m.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Oh, it's been a great morning, hasn't it? I thought so. Well, don't forget, today at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital from 9:30 this morning until 12:30, you have 3 hours. It's the first of a series of stuff they're doing there with the Chinese. They're having the 7th Chinese medical team there looking at the 4 traditional Chinese arts. It's in the corridor downstairs, so you will see it and you can engage through music, art, experiences, everything. Get to know a little bit more about the traditional Chinese medical approaches as well. That's today, 9:30 until 12:30 at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. And tomorrow, Q in the community. Yeah, boy. We're heading to Terrell Court in the car park right there. You can't miss it. We encourage all of you to get on the bus, come on over, come on down, and have some good times indeed. Well, that is our time for today. Thank you all for waking up bright and early on a Wednesday morning to be with us. Tomorrow, and I want you to do it today, start taking pictures of your little ones who've headed back to school. We want to show the beauty of the little ones in their school uniforms. So stand by for that opportunity. Thank you all. Our little team says thank you to all of you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados.